Okay, so hello everybody and welcome to the Monday, April 27th, 2020 Node.js and API team meeting. Before we get started with the agenda, if anybody has any announcements, please make them now. Going once, going twice, gone, I guess. All right, on to the agenda. Let me start sharing my screen. Yes, share. I guess I am sharing. So here's our milestone. If y'all can see it. So item number 1 is the next Node add-on API release. And that is located in this issue here. So let's see here. I think we're pretty good. Go ahead.
Yeah, I started the review of get instance and set instance data. Yeah, for the documentation. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, there is another pull request. It's mine, and it covers the first point here in the list, and if you and other want to review, we can go quickly to release to make this new release.
Okay, got a number?
Okay, sorry.
You can find it quickly.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This one? Okay, 709. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. I don't want to click stop sharing. I want to click update comment. All right, so, okay, good. So we got that one. And all right, yes, so after that we can release. Yeah, so yeah, Michael said he wanted to go over this issue and we're going over this issue, so we're good. Okay, so then, okay, so basically one more PR and then we can pretty much land.
Yeah, so I can, if we can land the first two
actually,
PR, I can start to make the release, and it will take the time just to see if the CI is good.
Yeah, I just like to add one more because I just realized that.
You missed the documentation.
Yeah, I forgot the documentation, so we might as well add that one as well, because otherwise we'll have the instance that in 3.0.0, but it won't have any documentation. So we might as well do that, right?
Yeah.
There. That's about right. Okay. Okay. All right. So then let's all go review these things, and then yeah, hopefully we can get to releasing during the course of the week.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Sounds good. Yep. Go ahead, Nick.
I agree with you that we can have the release in this week. That's it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's see. Did I? No, I didn't. Okay, so let's close this one because we can have the rest here. Right.
I want make a question. No. What do you think about our policy, to make the new release? Do you think that we need to make a release every time we have a significant update, maybe we can make a new release, or we need to wait. I don't know, 1 month, or I don't know.
I think it depends on the rate of PRs, right? So if we have very few PRs, then there's not much to make a release about, right? And so the PRs are going to slow down the release cycle. But if we have enough PRs, then we can make a release basically as often as we want, right? So then it's reasonable to wait for a few things to accumulate and then make a release, right? So like you don't want to release every commit, right?
No,
so
no, 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 no,
you have
no,
many.
no. Okay.
Like, how do you mean then?
Oh, because I followed the discussion on the Node.js API issue.
Let's open that one.
Yeah, because yeah, yeah, in Node.js API, the issue that you marked, yeah, make next release enver major.
Oh yeah, this one, the pinned one.
Yeah, and I saw that someone create a fork and use the fork on the Node API. So
Oh wow. Okay.
yeah. So I understand that now Node API is starting to be used much more than in the past.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is the reason, because I asked to everyone in the discussion here, what do you think? No, if we need to change, I don't know, our way to make new release.
Yeah, it sounds like we should do it more often.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, but I think that we don't have a big number of per requests, so we can handle all of these by hand. No, we don't need any particular things to automate the release.
You mean automate how? You mean schedule or the mechanics of the release process?
No, the mechanisms. So I think that we continue to make the release by hand, no? Because today we follow a grid under our documentation, and we need to do some by hand. But even if we release more often, I think that it could continue to be done by hand. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have a good release process. So I mean, if we need to improve it, then we will improve it. But if it works, then it works. We just have to do it more often. That much is certain.
Yeah. Okay.
We don't want to accumulate changes and not release them. So yeah, that's completely correct assessment, I think.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see then. All right, shall we move on to the next one? SQLite and API port. Jim, this one's to you, I think, and I've seen some good movement there.
Yes, so we have a PR. The maintainer has asked for another review that we're waiting for. Then last week, Nicola suggested that if you'd like to take a look at that. Yeah, I have not looked at this since last week. We have one approval, but the maintainer's asking for another review.
Okay. Yeah, and it looks like it needs a rebase now. There's a conflict.
Yeah, it's a one-line deal, so that's not a big deal, and it's
Okay.
in the documentation.
Yep.
Other members of this project were very happy to hear that NAPI is ABI stable, which has been a major deal with this particular project because it gets so widely used.
Yep.
So
Good. We brought the good word to them, so to speak.
Yeah, finally.
Yep.
Now, if we go back to our issue, Nicola has suggested that we do some benchmarks. And so what I did is I ran the Mocha tests twice. Well, once using the existing Mocha, the NAN implementation, and then again with our NAPI implementation. And so, benchmarking is a black art, but the numbers are I think the numbers are within the realm that we've seen before with other projects. Some are a bit slower, some are a bit faster.
Okay, good. At least there's no precipitous drop in performance, it would seem.
Correct.
Go ahead, Nicola.
What I understood is that the result is the highest number for both of two execution. Is it right?
Okay, so what I did, Nicola, is I ran the Mocha.
What I mean is that, for example, the first should return the correct class ID, no?
Right.
102 for NAN and 111 for NAPI, no?
Yes.
Is not the average. No, if I execute this test and for n times, your benchmark return the not the average but the highest time execution. Is it right or not?
No, Nicola, I just ran each set of Mocha tests one time.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, one thing we may want to consider is to run both of them like 10 or 20 times, right?
Okay.
And then get the average and
Okay.
maybe even the standard deviation, right? Because
Yeah.
you want to make sure that they are whatever relationship there is between the values should be that relationship on average, right? Like you may have just gotten really lucky with the one run,
Yeah. Okay.
So
yeah,
I know it takes a long time, and alternating between one implementation and the other, it's a lot of scripting, but it would be really useful to have those numbers, like their averages, because then we get a better picture of just what the impact is. Right?
Okay. I can do that. I was just heartened to hear that it wasn't like an order of magnitude slower. There's no smoking gun.
Right.
So.
Oh yeah. For that it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I can invest some time in that. Run it 10 or 20 times, and then get the mean and standard deviation of the values. Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. And using the Mocha tests, I think that's adequate.
Yeah, that's I tried to do that recently with MySQL, and I found two things, right? So on the one hand, using the tests is a very good idea because the tests are specifically designed to exercise the entire code base, right?
Right. Yes.
So you get a really good picture of all the possible things that you might have had an impact on. But on the other hand, the tests need to be consistent, right? Because if you run the test suite 10 times and sometimes this test fails, sometimes that test fails, then if you have a flaky test suite, you can't really use it at all, right? But I think in case of MySQL, or not in the case of SQLite, I don't think that's a problem, right? Because all the tests pass every single
Right.
time, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So yeah, that's it. You know, it's not a good indication in the sense that the test suite is not a realistic workload, right?
Uh, uh,
But on the other hand, the fact that it covers such a wide range of code paths is probably very good, because then you can claim with some confidence that, okay, no matter what you do with SQLite, it's not going to be 10 times worse. You
mm-hmm,
know?
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, and it's good we're doing this before it hits the users.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, you
yeah,
wanna catch any, like you said, smoking guns. Yeah, this
yeah.
is great. Yeah,
Okay,
and you're right in that that doesn't seem to be like a huge regression. So
right,
I mean, some of them are even faster. So
right.
that's pretty good. Now,
Yeah.
one thing I don't understand is how come an API has more entries than that?
Okay,
Do
so
we have additional tests?
yeah, this is a blunt, very, very blunt instrument. So Mocha reports the timings only if they exceed a certain value, and that threshold is about 35 milliseconds.
Oh, I
So
see.
um, uh, we could estimate like 35 milliseconds for the NAND side. I think if I'm going to do all of this work, I'm going to move that threshold down maybe to 0. So we get timing
Yeah,
for
okay. I
every
didn't know you
test.
could. Yeah.
Yeah, I might give that a shot, or get it very, very much lower if I'm going to be putting into all of this effort. So
Yeah. That sounds like a good idea, actually.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I think okay, this is a good plan, I think.
Cool. All right. So then let's see. Um, yeah,
And
next
this will
issue.
be a
Sorry, go ahead.
Sunver major for SQLite. They'll be bumping it from 4 to 5, and they'll be dropping support for Node less than 10.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, because I think Node 10 is the first one that has like a really consistent NAPI implementation
Mm-hmm.
throughout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Good
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see then. Um, all right, another issue to you, Jim. Transfer of the
Yeah.
tutorials.
Again, at Nicola's suggestion, I'm looking at Gatsby, and I have a Gatsby project going. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's a link to a static site that was generated by Gatsby. If you click that link, and looks very similar to the site that we've got going now.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that's
Let's see.
missing is the one thing that Hexo gave us is the ability to pull in code samples from live code. And so this one issue I need to look at is how to pull, I'd really like it to pull in samples using live code. And so I need to find a Gatsby plugin that implements that ability. And if there's not one, that it's one that I think would be useful pretty generally. So anyway, I think Gatsby could be a good solution for us. The idea would be that the Gatsby project would be embedded on the repo for examples. And the objective would be to then publish what we're seeing right here using GitHub pages on the example repo.
Yep, makes sense. But but GitHub pages are static though, right?
Yeah, and we're looking at a static site.
Right. So then we would basically periodically render the site, essentially.
Correct.
Do you understand that correctly?
Correct. Yeah. So we might re-render the site whenever we merged into master, and we might.
Okay.
It would be based on GitHub CI, which also would need to be implemented. We might even run this whenever commits or pushes were made against a PR. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, in that sense, we're gonna need to have at least two different directories, I guess, on the GitHub pages, right? Like we'd want to have master, right? If we're going to do that, but we also want to have like the latest release, right? So because we don't want that to change, and then people will be looking at the latest release most often, right, rather than master.
Yes, exactly.
So we'd want to keep at least one sort of version pinned to the last release, and then if they want to look at master, sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. We'll figure that out when we get to that stage.
Cool. Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see then. Okay, I left this stuff open. Okay, well that's for the next point. All right, tracking issue for. Yeah, go ahead.
So what I understood is that we will use the GitHub pages to serve the tutorial, and use another branch to like development, and we push on the GitHub pages only the building, the final product, the final website, or
yeah, I think that's right, Nicola. And then we would on that branch we would merge to master only based on Gabriel's suggestion. I think we would do that. We would make sure that we would make sure whatever was on the GitHub pages would represented what was currently available to users.
Yeah, in a release.
Right. It would match the release.
So, yeah. Okay. So, okay.
Yeah, I mean, we could have like a directory off the root of the website, like /master or something, and then we could render master there if we wanted to, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the root should be like the release, the latest release.
Yeah, but right? If we set GitHub pages, it takes the entire your entire folder like public website.
Yeah, I know. So what I'm saying is, like, on the GitHub pages repo, right? Yeah. We would have a single branch master, right? In that branch, there would be files, and those files would be the documentation for the latest release, or the tutorials for the latest release, right? Okay. And then we could have a directory that is not linked or is linked or whatever. We can decide that later. That is not part of the rendition of the latest release, but which contains a rendition of master, right? That's optional though. Like don't get me wrong. I'm not pushing for this at all, right? I'm just saying if it's possible and if we want to do it, I don't think there's anything preventing us from doing it.
I agree, but I didn't understand before. So sorry.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, another option to publishing master, like the bleeding edge, would be people who were interested could always clone the repo, get onto master, and then they could run Gatsby on their own system and see the site as it looks on master. So that could be another alternative than trying to publish to GitHub site or GitHub pages. But I think we could figure that out when we get closer to that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, after all, I don't know. People looking at master are probably those who are interested more deeply anyway in the code, right? So, right. So yeah, I don't know if it makes sense to write a reference for or even tutorials for master, right? Because I mean, obviously they might change and become invalidated the next day.
Yeah.
Okay, so then let's see the next issue, tracking issue for modules. I don't know. I saw one recently. I don't know if I don't think I've commented yet. It's just a small issue here. So there, that was the latest, and the last one I saw was SIMD JSON. Let me try to see if I can find that one. I'll just mention it and then edit the comment. There we go. That's a small module, but it's also using. I don't know, anybody else seen any new modules with an API directly or Node add-on API?
On Twitter, but you answered. Matthias Bass asked for on how to understand if an API function is available or not.
Yeah.
But it is a runtime, and you suggested to use DLC, if I remember, and Anna posted her work that she used for Navi-FFAI, and
but do you remember what module that was for? Like what package?
Okay, so I can find the module made by Anna, but Matthias didn't specify his. Yeah. So okay, I need to find it on Twitter.
Yeah, like I remember the discussion. I just don't. I didn't pick out any specific module within the context of which the discussion was happening. As far as I could tell, it was just sort of a technical question, like, okay, how do you do this, right? But why he's doing it, for which package he's doing it, I don't believe I've seen that listed there.
No.
It might be something he's about to publish. So who knows?
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can send a message to Matthias and ask if
if you can share the package.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, and we can list it here. Okay. So then, okay, list of issues raised by module owners. Let's see where we're at. Okay, this has been quite idle, but let's have a look at issues. Boy. So that would be GitHub, Node add-on, API issues. See if we have any new ones. Begin usage.
Oh.
Okay. All right, well, that's pretty clear. Trying to use BigInt. It's not so much of an issue as it is sort of a request for clarification. Yeah, all right, reference counter. I don't know, has anything happened there?
Yeah, he answered to you.
Oh, okay, all right. I have to have a look at that. But I get the feeling this can be done with like cleanup handlers. But anyway, I'll have a look. Oh yeah. Okay. Right. Oh, geez, I thought I'd answered this one. Oh no, I must have shut down my browser or something before I sent the comment. Oh well. All right. So let's see. Now this I'm really curious about.
Yeah, but I'm waiting for his repository because the last comment he said that wants
Oh yeah,
to.
he'll prepare it. Yeah. Kevin was working with him. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know. They don't seem to be that many new ones.
I would like to discuss my PR for the Threadsafe function context.
Sure.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So, the most recent what I've done, it's a PR.
Yeah. Oh geez, I clicked close and I thought that's gonna turn it into PRs.
Oh, the question for ZCC, is it right?
Yes. The
Okay.
question that I have is once we get to the PR, yes, that one. So what I've done most recently was considering that this EX class can be considered like the base implementation. What I tried to do was move the existing Threadsafe function class to use the EX class.
That's a very good idea.
Yes, and I've got it to work, except in this last comment here, it fails on GCC4. And when I looked at the CI that we use this version GCC 4.8.4, but then looking at the node requirements, they say that the node required minimum version of GCC is 6.
Yeah. Sounds like we should update the CI.
Right. And so I've tested this PR on a Docker image with GCC 6, and it works fine. So I'm not sure what we want to do to proceed.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think we need Michael for this one because he knows the CI a lot better than I. And yeah, we should talk to him about that because we really shouldn't be building with GCC 4 anymore since Node also requires a higher GCC version.
Right. That's what I figured.
Yeah.
So
and then sorry, go ahead.
That's pretty much where I stand now. There's because I guess like the implementation, what it's erring on is a constant expression check. That's like, right. It's so silly. It's so stupid. So I asked around and people were saying, oh, it might be an old compiler bug. So
yeah. No. That's yeah. I remember there was some issue with const expert before. Yeah, I think we refrained from using it for a while, but now we're using it because we've moved past that version, but apparently not in all our jobs. Right. So yeah, this okay. Definitely something we should be considering. Let me see here. You have.
Well, and that being said, so if we do end up like going with this implementation, then that means Node add-on API would no longer work on GCC 4. So I think like if we wanted to go that route, maybe we should say in this upcoming release that we're doing that GCC 4 is now deprecated. So that when we do release this or whenever the next major version is, we can push this and then not expect any problems.
Okay. That's a good point. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so in relation to this comment, I will. Oh, but wait a minute. If I add that, yeah, we should. Yeah. Let's make an issue. Let's see if we can discuss this during the course of the week about this. See if we can get Michael to chime in.
Okay.
All right. So let's do a new issue about this.
All right. And then I guess the only thing outstanding then is the documentation update. So then I guess that all is really dependent on if the implementation is acceptable. So depending on the outcome of this, you know.
Well, you have, right?
Yes, I have.
There we go. All right, let me make this into a bullet point list. Right. Okay, yeah. Go. Since Node.js itself requires GCC greater equals 6.3.1, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to add that there as the qualifier. Let's weaken that a bit. There we go.
Perfect.
And let me mention Michael. All right.
Perfect. All right. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, what tabs did I open now as a result? So, okay, we got that. Okay, we got this with the error itself. All right, and these are core issues, if I'm not mistaken, right? So then, I think we're good on the module issues. So let's see here, core repo. Well, I can just open this issue directly, and things that have happened. Let's see if there are any new ones. Okay, this is okay.
I received some request of backporting NAPI detach error buffer to V10. So
Okay, got a number?
Yeah, the top one.
Oh, okay, this one. Oh, the backport. Oh, great.
Yeah.
You're backporting it. Excellent. Wait a minute.
Yeah, but I'm wondering if there will be a minor V10 release.
Oh, wait a minute. This is not part of NAPI 6?
Yeah, I believe not, since it has not yet been backported to V10.
Wait a second. What? Oh, right. That's right. On 10, we don't have, sorry. Node API.h.
And there was another one
okay.
that NAPI is a rebuffer detached.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay, let me see here. What do we have in 6? Come on, holy cow, that's okay. So we got in 6, we got big int, instance data, and oh, that's right. Okay, so we don't have this in 6.
The only APIs that we left to NAPI experimental is the NAPI detacher buff and the NAPI detached buff.
Yeah, okay.
That's
So the whole
two.
detachable stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
yeah, this is good.
I'm wondering, since the V10 will goes to maintaining state on, I believe, in May 20th. That's quite that's quite nearing. So I'm wondering if there will be a minor release to the Node v10
Yeah,
to
I'm not
include
sure.
this patch.
Yeah, you may want to talk to Node.js release. They should be able to tell you if it can make it in or not. Maybe mention one of the releasers, or just mention
Yeah.
Node.js release in the PR. Okay, let me see what state it's in. Okay, so this was 2 days ago. Yeah, I think just maybe ask Node.js release if it's possible to land this, if there's going to be a minor, and I'm sure one of them will answer.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
and I'll get to reviewing because it seems fairly straightforward. So at least you'll have some approvals, and I'm sure.
The PR has to be some minor changes since we don't have the V8 has changed the detach around the Node.js v10. So in the So in around the Node.js v12 or around 11. So in Node.js v10, the API for detach is not called detach, but they do the same thing, I believe.
Okay. Well, as long as it can be done reliably, I don't see a problem with backporting, right?
Yeah.
So did you? So let me just. So did you change the implementation then?
Yeah.
For
We can pass most of the there, but some of the there are failing
okay.
for.
I see.
Failing for some unreproducible reasons. Yeah, you see that it's called Node.
Yeah, neuterable. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's good.
I'm recently working on NAPI and the async hooks. So I've also submitted 1 or 2 PRs around the NAPI working with async hooks. We can go back with the list.
Okay. All right. So okay. So I'm gonna leave that one open. Okay. So let's see.
The number is 32 92 8 3 29 28. See, NAPI fixed false assumption.
Yep.
We have a false assumption of the NAPI async context. So I'm requesting for reviews. Only Michael approved.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I think last week we talked about this. Yeah, this is a good change because we shouldn't assume the internal structure of things, and it's a test-only change. So that's great because it improves the testing. Yeah.
So
I'll get to it as soon as I can.
Yeah, the test fixed the assumption of the structure, and I have submitted another PI that introduced a fairly minor changes of the NAPI makeup callback. So we have, I believe I have submitted the issue that describe the issue around NAPI makeup callback. Let me find the number. Yeah.
This one.
So we have duplicated parameters describing the async context, async resources, and NAPI makes the bag accept an additional resource, but it also accepts an async context parameter. But async context parameters also are created with a resource, and these two resources can practically be different one. So there will be a confusion around this API.
Okay.
We have
see, okay.
we have a discussion on the PR, but that we have no idea why it's designed in this way. So we are finding someone who is familiar with this design. The number can be 32930. I believe the link is the issuer. Yes, 2930.
Okay. Wait, what is this Node API?
So Michael suggested that we can deprecate this old in the Confusion API and make another that respect the async context, I believe. But we still have to figure out why it's designed in this way if we don't have another reason. Or we can proceed to the PR.
Okay.
If we are going to deprecate this API, I believe this is the first one we are going to deprecate in NAPI.
Oh, wow. Okay, I understand now. Okay, so let me just try to figure this out. Okay, so you're saying that okay, so the creation of the async context itself is the one we should be deprecating, correct?
No. NAPI make callback accepts two parameters that make a
okay,
conclusion.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It accepts a async resource and another async context, and the async context is initiated with a async resource. So NAPI make callback may be confusion.
Oh, I see what you're talking about. Okay, yeah, sorry, I understand. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we've had a few of these where we had a few extra parameters, or in this case, or like I remember a couple where we didn't have finalizers and we should have, and now this, yeah, okay, I understand now. Oh boy, so if we deprecate that, you know, since there seems to be redundancy in the two parameters, right? Would it make sense to just make one of the parameters optional? You know, like we did with Threadsafe function, we made the JS function optional, and then if one of the parameters covers the necessary input for both, then we can just deprecate it in that way. We can say that okay, the second parameter will not be used anymore. That kind of thing. Would that be Semver major if we did that?
Yeah, this can be a approach, but there is a difference with the Threadsafe function, since Threadsafe function that the optional parameter is not a conflict with another parameter. So, but in the NAPI make callback, the two resource might be we have to choose one to use in the async host. So yes, a redundant optional parameter works, but it causes confusion. So that's the idea of deprecating current signature of a NAPI make callback.
Right. So okay, but if we deprecate it, right, then are we going to have a replacement signature? So a new function that
we will make the nappy make callback accept only a async context, but not an additional async resource. Yes. So every time we call nappy make callback, we have to int a async context beforehand.
Okay. So all right. Okay. Yeah. All right. That sounds like a plan. Yeah. It's all right. Let's call it at that because we're getting close to the time. See if we have any others.
We can discuss this offline.
Yeah.
Just,
okay. Well, but I guess we do have a few more minutes, and we don't have that much left because we only have Node.js. I looked at it. There are some conflicts. It's moving very slowly, and I think I don't know if we're going to follow up with this matrix of tested methods because our priorities seem to have shifted. So then we're pretty much at the end of the agenda anyway. So if anybody has anything else they'd like to bring up, then please do so.
Yeah, I have a curiosity. I sent a link. It's a gist. I sent the link on the chat.
How do I open the chat? Okay. Yes. Okay. Hide. Okay. Yes. Thank you. There we go.
So I did this experiment to use nappy underscore register underscore module underscore v1 to export the module, and it works on macOS and on Linux, but it does not work on Windows.
It doesn't. Huh.
Yeah, I will get this error that it's the same error that you will get if you don't export, like C, if you don't use external C. So this is the error, and I don't know if I need some extra things on Windows.
So
took the hello world example and changed the code the way on how I export the module.
So one thing you can do that I sometimes do is check. You can do like on Linux, for example, and you should be able to copy the code to Windows. Then one thing you can do on Linux is if you run npm install with capital V equals 1, then it'll show you all the command lines, right? So then when you're compiling hello.cc, you can copy that command line and run it. You cd into build, and then you run that command line, right? And then it'll do exactly the same thing as if it were running as part of npm install. But what you can do then is instead of GCC minus C, right? You can do GCC minus capital E, right? And then when you do that, you should change the output to like hello, instead of hello.o, change it to like hello.e or something, capital E, right? And what that will do is it'll pre-process the file using the C preprocessor, but it will not compile it, right? So it'll paste in all the standard IO and then Node.h and everything, and it'll create like a giant file which you can then pass to the C compiler, right? And then the good thing about that, you should probably format it with Clang format because you will not be able to read it the way it creates it. So you create this hello.capital E, then you format with Clang format, and then you open the file in an editor. And then at the bottom of the file, where normally you would say what is that? Nappy module init, where you had the macro like nappy module init, there you will see the result of replacing that macro with its definition, right? And so you can check you can check how it replaces that, and you can see what you wrote by hand. And if there's something missing, or if there's something extra, or if there's any difference between the two, then you'll be able to see it right there. And so that might be why it doesn't work on Windows, right? Because
Okay,
I
yeah.
believe, let me double check. I believe we do use Node tree master test Node API. Well, actually, it's much faster if I just do this. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so we use nappy module init in several places. Like, well, instance data uses it. Yeah, so okay, so at least instance data uses nappy module init, right? So and it's a C program. So then if you create an add-on, right, that has, like, let's say it has this code, right, and then you do v = 1 npm install, and then you copy the command line that compiles the C file, you replace it with -E, you set the output to somewhere, and then you open the output, then you will see this thing resolved to its definition, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can compare with what you wrote by hand.
Okay.
Yeah, because you may be missing some stuff, right?
Yeah.
I don't see why, because all you need is really this, and it should be global, which it is. So I'm not. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a second. Are you building with you know, the f visibility equals hidden? Are you building with that?
Oh yeah, because the default is hidden. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So if you're building with f visibility hidden, then that's probably why this isn't working. This needs to be nappy value nappy module export, if I'm not mistaken. So let me see here. Let's start with JS native API.h/export. Okay, nappy extern. Yeah, no, that's I don't know if it's nappy extern that you should be using. Okay. I gotta remember how you do that. Because I think, like, we have Node module export, but that's Node only. What the heck? Let's see how it does that. Okay, yeah, nappy module export. This is what you want. See, because then if you do nappy module export, then that's going to say attribute visibility default, right? And it's going to say declaspec DLL export on Windows, right? So
Yeah.
so yeah, and if you go to nappy module init, then okay, so the name of the initializer is nappy register module v, right? And then you add the version, right? Base # version. And then, so what we're looking for is nappy module initialize. Yeah, so then this is the macro that defines the name. And see here, you have, yeah, extern C start, nappy module export, right? So you need, so in your code, you need to prefix that with nappy module export, and then it should work. So here,
Okay.
this is where you would put nappy module export, and then you should be fine.
I will try.
All right, cool. Okay, I think that's the time we have, and we're even a little bit over. So I guess we'll talk to each other next week, correct?
Yeah.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right, talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.